Hello and Assalamu Alaikum. I'm Marwa. Welcome to Naramis. It's happening. Modi Sarkar has done a surgical strike again, but this time on India's reputation. It has suspended the IWT unilaterally. On April 22nd, Indian media reported a deadly attack in Pahalgam, located inside Indian-occupied Kashmir. No investigation, no evidence. And yet, within hours, fingers pointed straight at Pakistan. And a day later, the Indian government announced suspension of IWT. This is as serious as it gets. It's an act of war. At stake is the status of Kashmir. Just as BJP's treatment of Muslims revived faith in the two-nation theory, Modi's reckless move reminds us why Jinnah called Kashmir Pakistan's jugular vein. The Kashmir dispute is not just a territorial dispute. It's an unsettled commitment of partition. For over 7 decades, the valley has been a theater of wars, skirmishes, and diplomatic standoffs. For years after the 1947 war, India lured Pakistan into believing that a civilized diplomatic path existed for resolving the Kashmir issue. In good faith, Pakistan showed restraint and gave diplomacy a chance until 1965. However, with no meaningful progress, Pakistan turned to war in an attempt to seek resolution. After the conflict, India again used the ceasefire to its advantage, persuading Pakistan that the issue could still be resolved bilaterally, an assurance that has repeatedly failed to produce tangible outcomes. 65 followed another war in 1971, which reshaped the South Asia but left Kashmir's status unresolved. However, closer to the end of Cold War, in 1989, the Indian-occupied Kashmir erupted into a full-blown armed freedom struggle. Nevertheless, by end of 1990s, the Kashmir issue had gone in the background. The struggle, though active, got little international attention. The frustration on the Pakistani side led to the Kargil War in 1999, which pushed the two nuclear-armed neighbors to the brink once again. But the positive outcome of it was that India came around and started talking about resolving Kashmir dispute. In the early 2000s, former President Pervez Musharraf proposed a 4-point formula focused on soft borders, phased demilitarization, self-governance, and joint supervision. This formula sparked cautious optimism, but ultimately stalled. In 2003, President Musharraf even agreed to an indefinite ceasefire along LOC with India. The ceasefire, once again, cushioned India with relative peace at the border, allowing it to avoid pressure on Kashmir. In the last decade or so, India's growing global clout, especially under the BJP's revisionist agenda, has prompted New Delhi to rewrite the rules regarding Kashmir. One of the eeriest moves came in 2019, when India revoked Article 370, dismantling Kashmir's limited autonomy under the cover of darkness. Indian troops flooded the streets. Leaders were detained. The internet went dark. India thought such a unilateral action would settle decades-old dispute with genuine moorings. It was a calculated political discussion. Using presidential order, India tried to rewrite the rules. This wasn't a legal reform, but an erasure in constitutional sense, completely disregarding international norms. It also exposed just how vulnerable Kashmir's status really was, and how easily a hyper-nationalist agenda like BJP's Hindutva could override decades of constitutional promises. During this period, India made full use of Pakistan's distraction towards her western border, where she was facilitating the US-led war on terror along the Pak-Afghan border. After the 2003 ceasefire, in 2021, Pakistan, even in good faith, agreed to extend the ceasefire along the LOC as part of a broader diplomatic effort to stabilize the region. The move once again aimed to create a calm security environment to facilitate a safe and orderly US withdrawal from Afghanistan, while allowing Islamabad to focus on internal security priorities. After the 2021 ceasefire, Pakistan stepped back, believing the escalation and counter-terrorism focus on western border might open doors to US-facilitated progress on Kashmir. But that door never opened. Instead, the relative peace along LOC gave India space. With ceasefire, the guns fell silent, but so did the pressure on New Delhi. While Pakistan looks westwards, India's actions within IIOJK continue with precision. Meanwhile, with no international resistance, India accelerated its post-2019 strategy, redrawing electoral boundaries, rolling out new domicile laws to engineer demographic change, and tightening a near total communication lockdown across IIOJK. And as the world looked away, India looked beyond. Emboldened by muted reactions, especially from Washington, New Delhi began signaling intentions to absorb Azad Jammu and Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan. With the latest decision, it has weaponized water resource. Global powers, especially the US and European countries, hold silent treatment towards the Kashmir dispute, except China. We have no sympathizers in the developed world. Only China has firmly opposed India's moves, not just in words, but in posture, especially with its own border disputes tied to the same region. This alignment with Pakistan's position isn't just diplomatic, it's strategic. By leveraging China's stance on sovereignty and territorial integrity, Pakistan can bring Kashmir back onto the global stage. With uncertainty over all 6 rivers, Pakistan now feels cheated. When she adjusted her national security priorities, shifting focus westward to support global counterterrorism efforts at a frontline state in the US-led war on terror, the expectation was clear. Strategic alignment would translate into diplomatic capital, particularly on unresolved regional conflicts like Kashmir. But nothing of the sort happened, despite bearing immense human and financial costs. The 2003 India-Pakistan ceasefire was seen by Islamabad as a pragmatic gesture. A stable line of control, it was hoped, could ease tensions, create space for dialogue, and show Washington that Pakistan remained committed to peace within the evolving Asia-Pacific framework. But the gesture was misread as weakness, resulting in India's decision to suspend IWT. All optimism from ceasefire has faltered. The Kashmir issue has become more dangerous. Through this act, India has itself re-emphasized the importance of Kashmir to all Pakistanis. The conflict remains volatile. Its unresolved status carries the potential for rapid escalation in a region where 2 nuclear powers are just one misstep away from confrontation. Strategic restraint may offer temporary comfort, but it cannot substitute for a durable resolution. Now, Pakistan stands at a crossroads. So where does Pakistan go from here? The old strategy of restraint, hope, and back-channel diplomacy has run its course. Ceasefire hasn't delivered anything. It's time for a recalibrated approach. Reignite the Kashmir issue. Loudly, sharply. Only change of situation on ground would bring India back to the negotiation table. Use diplomatic partnerships to reframe Kashmir as a threat to Asia-Pacific stability, something even Washington can't ignore. And most importantly, the ceasefire agreement of 2021 must be renegotiated. Pakistan must balance words with credible deterrence by coercive means to halt India's creeping aggression. Domestically, Azad Jammu and Kashmir must also be reimagined, not just as a territory, but a core area of interest for which Pakistan is ready to fight. Pakistan must rethink its approach, decisively but responsibly. Diplomacy should remain the foundation, but it must be backed by credible signaling, clear red lines, strategic deterrence that is assertive but non-provocative. Pakistan will have to fight for Kashmir and her own survival. What are your views on how Pakistan should recalibrate its approach towards Kashmir? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe and stay kind. Allah Hafiz.